Hi, good morning, everyone. So we are going to do another discussion. This is actually, I believe, one of the discussions that is. Good day, everyone. Today we are going to have another discussion. This is going to be Unit Three, in where Unit Three is, I believe, it will be the second to the last or third to the last topic. So um, we will be done with the topics needed. So right after that, of course, you may have to focus more on your um, outputs then. All right. Let me just do my share screen here. And what should be the third topic? So the question is, what are the other ways for us to authentically assess our students? Like, what are the other means, no? Such as we already have the performance based, diba? Um, we can also have the product, we can also have the process, we can have, so these are very, very authentic. But of course, we also have another one in where it's not about performance, it's not about process, it's not about um, product, but it is more on the authentic assessment of the affective domain. Okay, so when you talk about the affective domain, so it talks about um, feelings, it talks about affection, it talks about motivation, behavior, attitude, no? In where even though we can say that behavior is being shown, but of course it is based from your attitude, di ba? So um, the question is, how are we going to do the assessment being done effectively? So how can we say that this is an authentic one? Because of course it is out from the traditional way, and where the traditional way will always focus on more on cognitive. However, the emphasis of this is, aside from cognitive, it will also involve the affective side of your learners. Okay, so imagine the statement of Aristotle: educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. So just like what my other teacher said, say pulo sa imong kuan, pagka-bright kung wala sa kay saktong pamatasan. Di ba? So what exactly is the implication of this statement by Aristotle and my fellow teacher? So it's like you're not holistically intelligent if your intelligence is only consistent of your cognitive side. So maybe to be when we talk about holistical development of intelligence, so maybe we can involve also the intelligence towards feelings, our feelings and feelings for others, sensitivity towards other people and other beings, and of course, um, we can also say intelligence when it comes to kinesthetic abilities, sports, just like the performance assessment, di ba? So those can be considered as intelligence still, because what's the purpose of mastering the Ten Commandments if according to the Bible, and you may memorize all of that, but you cannot do all of it in the real world. When we talk about the creating part in the Bloom's taxonomy, we are actually encouraged to do or follow or use what we know. So it's not only that when we do the cleaning inside our classroom. Remember, elementary and high school, we are asked to have cleaners every day. There's a group of students who will clean for that day, and of course, um, the cleaning, no, the knowledge of cleanliness, no, for us to be, to have this sense of responsibility to make our surroundings clean may not only happen inside the classroom, but also it should be done also at home or outside. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, there are some people who really um, do their best inside the classroom, but when they're outside, they don't do it well, or they don't use it. So, such as cleaning. Cleaners ka, pero limpyo kayo yung classroom, may kika mo limpyo, pero pag abos balay, at damak pud kay ka, di ba? Or you're very untidy. Your bedroom is very untidy. So, how about that? Di ba? So, that is going to be a problem. So, there's a problem with um, the learning part. And possibly one of the things that we can do is involve the affective domain. Diba? So imagine learning. in where you will not only use your mind but also use your heart, your feelings, diba? Aside from using it or using your senses to make it more um, permanent, making learning more permanent. All right. So Filipino students are very conscious when it comes to their academic performance. However, the holistic development of a student does not just involve excelling academically. There are other aspects that need to be examined, which contribute significantly to the school achievement of the learners. These aspects are those that involve various affective traits such as attitudes, interests, values, opinions, preferences, motivation, self-esteem, emotional development, social relationships, and moral development. In general, affective traits are non-cognitive variables such as emotions or feelings towards someone or something which are different from knowledge, reasoning, and skills. So various researchers have established that affective traits have an influence or strong link to the academic performance of students. According to the study of Abubakar et al., 2010, achievement motivation was found to be strongly related to academic performance. They recommend that teachers need to augment students' attitudes and motivation toward learning, as these would drive them to achieve higher in the learning process. In the study of Creed and Council 2008, attitude inventories are the most predictive of the academic performance. Imagine na, the attitude is very, for them, mo lang emphasize, di ba? Because it is very predictive of the academic performance among the students, while academic specific anxiety was found to be an important negative predictor of, of their school performance. Look at al. 2005 also revealed in their study that lack of fear acceptance in the classroom predicted lower academic self-concept, which in turn predicted lower academic performance. O, di ba? So, for us teachers, what's the implication? So, of course, we should be sensitive towards our learners' reaction towards our class, di ba? What they're feeling towards our class. Hence, various affective traits should be one of the main considerations in developing programs which aims to improve the school performance of the students. So how can we make the effective assessment being an effective type of learning? So one of the things we can do is being an involved and productive member of our society. One of the things that we can hit, okay, trigger them to become to immerse, to immerse outside. Not only use what they're learning for the sake of grades, but also use it outside, just such as Girl Scouting, diba? What the training for Girl Scouting or Boy Scouting is for us to become responsible children or responsible young individuals once we are outside. And of course, preparing for occupational and vocational satisfaction and productivity. Diba? So creation, the future of our learners and maximizing the motivation to learn at present and in the future. Of course, motivation, Jud, no? From the first part of your lesson design, you should have a very, very effective motivation that imagine if your motivation fails, how much more for the discussion part. So that's why motivation should be very, very important. You should know well how to do your motivation and preventing students from dropping out of the schools, of course, no, keeping them inside your school, and because what's the use of you becoming a teacher if you experience these dropouts, if you experience turnovers of students? So you have to you have to also be sensitive to this type of results inside your school. Okay, for example, so it may be academical or performance, and also it may be personal or individual, that you really have to reach out to your students too. Okay, to because some of the reasons why they drop out is not only academical, but it's more of personal matter, and that is affective domain. Okay, all right. So attitude target. So Eagley and Chaiken 2007 define attitude as a psychological tendency that is expressed by evaluating a particular entity with some degree of favor or disfavor. So this definition covers the key features of attitudes, which are tendency, entity, or attitude object, and evaluation. According to Forsyth 1999, there are three contributing factors consisting attitude. These factors include affective component, which focuses on positive or negative feelings, cognitive component, which is an evaluative belief if something is worthy or valuable, and behavioral component, which indicates a desire to engage in specific actions. So those three components constituting attitude have important implication in identifying the attitude targets. So if the learning target is for the students to have a positive attitude toward attending classes in school, then the assessment should be comprised of the three components. So the nature of the target needs to be consistent with the assessment. So what are those? First, we have the um, a- affective component, cognitive component, and behavioral component. Think of those things when you're going to do your lesson designing. So maybe you can anchor your lesson designing specifically with your assessment. No? You can hit it inside the assessment part when you talk about the three components for the attitude targets. How about values targets? Values reflects a person's sense of right and wrong. Value systems affect the ethical behavior of a person and serve as the basis of their intentional activities. They motivate people to act one way or another, and they serve as a guide for human behavior. Each person has its own set of values, which they are raised with. Thus, values vary among individuals and across cultures and time. Nevertheless, values are universally recognized as a driving force in ethical decision making. Okay, so inside the classroom, you have to emphasize values at also, yeah, or they can bring this outside. According to Macmillan, 2007, setting value targets in the teaching learning process should only include those which are non-controversial and clearly related to academic learning. So these may include honesty, integrity, kindness, to name a few. Uh, So below is a sample list of values adopted by the State Board of Education of Georgia in 1997. So take a look at this one: accomplishment, cheerfulness, citizenship, fairness, frugality, generosity, honesty, respect for authority, respect for others, truthfulness, tolerance, virtue. So if we will go back to our school in CNU, if you can still recall, outside, diba, we have this, we have our walls painted with virtues, no? That will remind us. So I just hope that those virtues outside, we follow it, we show it to other people. So I hope that you will also emphasize that once you will have your own classroom soon. How about motivation targets? So Tohidi and Jabari 2012 define motivation as powering people to achieve high levels of performance and overcoming barriers in order to change. In education perspective, motivation is defined as the extent to which students are involved in trying to learn. There are two distinct forms of motivation, which are the intrinsic and extrinsic ones. So what are those? No, the in and the x. So intrinsic motivation refers to motivation that exists within the individual and is driven by an interest or enjoyment in the task itself. So while extrinsic motivation comes from outside of the individual, such as rewards like money, grades, parental approval, and threat of punishment. So in school setting, intrinsic motivation among students can be observed when they engage themselves in classroom activities because they find the activities interesting and enjoyable. While extrinsic motivation leads the students to perform in class for additional points and instructors' approval. So as you can see in this discussion, actually contextualize outside and now contextualize inside the classroom in how motivation is being defined. Okay. So of course, again, motivation inside the classroom is based on the engagement of the learners inside the classroom because you have a very catchy strategy that you use. But of course, when you talk about extrinsic motivations, of course, they will see that there will be a result. They expect a positive result. They expect a feedback. Okay, so I can say that giving out positive criticism, yeah, constructive criticism that may also help with their motivation, um, like responding to their answers in a very positive manner that they won't get offended. So in setting motivation targets, Macmillan 2007 proposed that the targets should focus on self-efficacy and value. So self-efficacy is about the belief of the student that they are capable of learning a particular lesson, while value refers to the belief of the student on how important to learn a particular lesson. So when siya nga kuan, you have to help them realize what's the significance of this topic for that day. Maybe that's the reason why they don't listen to you, because they don't get the point why they have to listen. Diba? So as shown in the University of Notre Dame webpage, there are multiple ways for a teacher to foster intrinsic motivation to the students, which include creating a student-centered classroom, promote a mastery goal rather than a performance goal, encourage students' actions, not their character or person, and providing learning goals, having high but realistic expectations for students. So when you talk about assessing the learners now, when we have our classroom, so this could be one of the examples that we have or we can use, no, the tools, so the instruments that we can use. One way is by using checklists. So such as the example here, we have the student self-monitoring behavior checklist. So this form includes all elements of the customized self-monitoring checklist. So in what way will this help? Of course, no, it will also help the students to open up, to give their opinion, if, especially those silent ones or those shy ones who cannot really express. But with the help of this one, they will be encouraged to give what they think about our class or anything, diba? So, so if you will take a look at this one about the behavior checklist, what are the what are the areas? So first we have the when the teacher is talking in the classroom, when participate. Second is when participating in group work, and lastly, while walking down hallways. So with this one, we can see um, how they respond, and this will also represent them as a person. So in return, teachers benefit from when using this checklist, knowing where their learners is at when it comes to attitude and behavior, diba? And their values, especially that if you will take a look at the of the things being to be checked here, um, it's more about their values towards life, towards learning. No? Another tool is the semantic differential scale. If you will talk about your research, you can also use this tools, diba? The checklist about the differential scales. If you will take a look at it, you have here the where the respondent will choose whether it's kind or unkind, helpful or unhelpful, patient or impatient, calm or angry, friendly or threatening. Okay, so of course they can choose asa sila na kwan. And imagine this is already looking at their affective traits objectively, no? Objective kay siya. So, of course, we are trying to being objective as much as possible when we talk about feelings, di ba? So it's like just like when you're saying, from the scale of 1 to 10, how angry are you, no, towards our government, to this official, to this candidate, no? So those can be one of the things that we can ask, okay? And we're trying to put it numerically to give value, to understand more about it, diba? So such as this one, no? Attitude towards mathematics. So interesting, boring. You will have this an activity later. We will go get back to this, of course. Interesting. Perhaps we can put something in here in the 1 to 8. What exactly does it mean? And then here in the boring part, so it's very, we can say that it's very, very boring. So this is more about the semantic differential scale code. Okay. How about this one? So we have here the Likert scale. So lectures are usually dominated with monologue without revealing the application of what is being taught. The information provided in lecture is very much textual and can be retrieved easily through textbook. Lectures usually fail to generate curiosity and further motivation to know more about the topic, so on and so forth. So if we talk about this Likert scale, what exactly is the title? What should be the title of this Likert scale that is being presented now? So I believe we can use this in a teaching demonstration type, no? Or it's more of a teacher self-assessment type through Likert scale, diba? So we can actually do that. And then of course we can say um, or we can contextualize this towards our students or inside an office, no? We can actually change that and have it approved by an expert kung maghimo tag atong own type of Likert scale, no? How about this one? So another example of the Likert scale. So you can see it is blank. So this will be part of your activity two. So of course, no, strongly disagree, disagree, neither agree nor disagree, agree and strongly agree. So as you can see here, I am happy whenever I calculate numbers. I feel anxious during math classes, so on and so forth. Okay. So of course, if we want to look at something, so this is more about behave or attitude towards mathematics, no? So why don't we have it attitude towards, let's say, ROTC? Di ba? ROTC. So, however, of course, when you do your research, you will really um, push yourself to explore when you try to identify the different criterias for your scale. No? Also, we have teacher observation. So teacher observation has been considered in the past as a legitimate source of information for recording and reporting student demonstration of learning outcomes. So there are two types of teacher observation, which are incidental and planned observation. So these are also effective assessment ways inside the classroom. Student self-report, so maybe you can let them answer by through questionnaire or surveys or having interviews, di ba? So, especially that there are two ways in assessing effective traits. So, so maybe you have to think of what is when is best, which is more practical. So of course, when you conduct an interview, the most common way to assess affect as self reports. So it can be individual or group interviews, discussions, or casual conversations. So in that manner, the teachers have direct involvement with the student. Advantage of this method is, of course, it will give opportunity for the teacher to probe, clarify questions, respond in note gestures for clear understanding. So what should be with answering surveys or questionnaires? So of course, no, um, it's more of students can really answer on their own without any hindrance from the teachers, perhaps. And the questions are already guided, no? Because if you will do interviews, it may also take time to answer it, especially if you're doing a dialogue. So the conversation might get too long. So, which is now an advantage of having survey of questionnaires surveys or questionnaires. No? So how about peer ratings? According to Bukowski et al. 2012, peer ratings um, refer to measures based on peer reports that tell us about what goes on in children's and adolescents' experiences within the peer group. So through peer ratings are the least used method. It is because most of the times the students do not always take this activity seriously. So it is recommended that peer ratings results should be complemented with observation and self-reports to strengthen the validity of the results. So, of course, peer ratings can also help. No? Aside from the teacher doing the rating, or aside from the learner doing the rating for him or herself, the peer can also take part. Take part of the rating. So, of course, we have to do this honestly. We have to do this sincerely um, for the good of that individual that you're trying to rate. No, so um, these are the ways on how to assess our students in the affective area, in the affective domain. So, what do you think about the affective domain way of assessment? So, of course, by knowing it, we already know why it is considered to be authentic, di ba? Because of course it is really really genuine. I can say it's very very genuine because it is really realistic. Maybe it's just a matter of teachers emphasizing that we should give what we should express what we want to express, like honestly express. Maybe control our, but of course we have to control our emotions. um, Count 1 to 100 for us to calm down and then give our expression, not that we have to do it in a very angry manner, di ba? All right. So, so muna siya nga, affective is really, really genuine that it can be, teachers can identify the students' eagerness of learning on that day, even in the first part, especially in the motivation part. So you can definitely sense sense your learners eagerness even in the first part, especially in the motivation. So muna siya guys nga once you will make your lesson design, one of the things if I will be the one to check your lesson design will be your motivation part, because you need to have your students attitude towards that subject, towards you, towards what they are expecting, be positive as much as possible. Because how much more inigabot nila sa discussion ni mga part, wala sila gana maminaw nimo because they were not motivated. And of course, with 30 to 50 students inside the classroom, so you really need to step up with your motivation. So especially that each student that will face you will have different attitudes and behaviors that they will show inside your classroom. So that's really a challenge. So first part palang done, challenging na kaayo. But trust me, if you will hit your motivation, it will definitely help you with your discussion na day, running very, very smoothly until the end of the part of the lesson design, which is you doing your assessment na day. Okay, so here are your activities. This will be your next class. This will be your expected things that you have to do. Um, kining kuan na to, you have to create this one. You have to complete the table. So attitude towards mathematics, from interesting to boring. Okay, so you will be the one to make that on your own. And then here, attitude towards mathematics. So dili lang ta mag-complain if it's going to be mathematics. What we are going to do is we have to explore. No, we have to explore. We have to find ways to contextualize this in a different manner, because there might be also possibilities that you will be teaching other subjects once you get to your future school, or even in the ILS. Okay, so you will be making two outputs for the next classwork. So attitude towards mathematics. This is a semantic differential scale, and the Likert scale still the same. Attitude towards mathematics. So that is from 1 to 10, and then for this one, it's from 1 to 8. Okay, so you have to make this output individually. If you have any other concerns, let your mayor know about it, and then your mayor will relay it to me, or kuan, comment, or kuan, comment in the video, or comment in our Google Classroom. Right. Thank you very much, guys, and goodbye.